All right, hello. My name is Jesse Brown, and my project for the semester is creating a basketball coaching manual with the ultimate goal of sending junior college basketball players to Division One schools on scholarship. A little background information on myself. I've had the privilege to coach 9 years through all different levels: high school, junior college, and Division Two. I've spent 7 years at the college level. Of those 7 years, I have 3 years of head coaching and co-head coaching experience, and then I have 4 years as an assistant or head assistant experience. I also played at the junior college level and at the NCAA Division II level. Inside the NWAC, which is the Northwest Athletic Conference, there's four regions: the North, the South, the East, and the West. I've been involved now for 7 years as a coach, playing in the West, and played in the West region myself for 2 years. And I started to come across a large problem, which led to some questions. The problem was, I started thinking about how many basketball players from our region get to the Division One level on scholarship. Every year, you recruit guys from the area that I live in, and the first thing that they say is, "Coach, can you get me to a Division One basketball program?" That's my goal, and that's where I want to get to. And my answer is always this: is if they're willing to put in the time, which I'm willing to provide the resources, that goal, once we set a plan to that goal, is achievable. However, the path is unknown. Our path is through junior college, and part of the problem and the questions that arose were I started thinking about all of the Division One players that come out of the West region in recent years, and I've been involved, coached, or played with 9 players that went Division One. And through a survey in the last few years, there were 0 players from other teams that have earned Division One scholarships, while I've been involved with 9 of them. So that got me thinking about questions such as, what are we doing different in the programs I'm involved with to make sure that these kids are attaining their goal and their dreams of becoming a Division One athlete. So, of course, my natural instinct was, what makes us different? What makes our programs different? So I started to just focus on our programs, and through this class, started to develop a coaching manual which focuses on the 4 items which the coaches I've worked with or myself have emphasized on a daily basis. And those 4 items are diet and nutrition, a strict weight room program, which the main program is periodization. We'll get into that and what that involves later. Player development, which is individual skill building, and then what us coaches can do in season to continue that development through the schedule and the practice schedule we have each day once the season starts. And again, it comes down to 4 things. It comes down to what you eat and how you're feeling your body in order to have enough energy to do what it takes to have that opportunity to earn that scholarship. So you gotta know what to eat. Your coaches got to emphasize what you eat. You got to take classes that are gonna to educate you on proper nutrition. The next thing is weight room. Down in the bottom right corner, that is the University of Washington. Those are players huddled around one player doing the bench press. You got to know what it takes in the weight room. You got to be dedicated to the weight room because you have to build strength. Because the Division One level, those athletes that are playing collegiate basketball, they're some of the best athletes in the world. The next is player development. In the top middle of the screen, that is me on the left in the white T-shirt, standing next to a player development guy who is one of the best skill trainers in the country. He's got multiple guys that play in the NBA that were not ranked out of high school, that went to smaller colleges, and he works with them every summer, and he develops these guys. And it's kind of a new trendy tradition, um, way of going about basketball training that's kind of taken over the college basketball world. Um, in order to get to that level, you got to be able see what guys at that level are doing. So in the top right corner is my basketball team, and we actually took them to some of the University of Washington games this year, some practices, let them talk to their players to find out what they have to do so they could see it for themselves, not just hear it from a coach. And then down on the bottom of the screen in the middle, that's our gym that we get into, and it's about 6 a.m. in that picture, and just kind of sets the tone and the vision for the dedication level that the programs I've been involved with. We get in there, we get in there early, we get in there often, and we get to work, and we're focused on accomplishing goals and dreams of our players. So the questions led me to the thesis of my project, and that thesis is student athletes that play basketball in the junior college level, more specifically the West Region inside the NWAC, that follow a strict eating program, stay dedicated to a 52-week weightlifting program. They utilize player development skill building and have coaches that implement player development inside practice schedules on a daily basis. Those players are going to have more opportunity and a better chance at earning an NCAA Division I scholarship than those players that do not follow these guidelines or go to programs that don't emphasize the dedicated hard work that it takes to possibly earn a Division I scholarship. So therefore, we can start building our coaching manual, and you can build your program. It starts with recruiting, having a vision for what type of player you want, and are you getting players that are willing to do what it takes to be a productive program that will develop kids into possible Division I athletes. It all starts with your philosophy as a coach. Here's 3 things that I believe tie into my philosophy and the philosophy of those programs that have helped develop 9 Division I basketball players over the last few years. The first is values. Part of those values, there's 5 of them: loyalty, family, relationships, work ethic, and communication. In recent years, and going through this master's degree program, I've come up with a program builder and a vision of our program, which is called Study Skills for Stability. And then the last is you got to have priorities. What is the most important to you? What are you going to teach your kids in the short time, the 2 or 3 years in the junior college system? What are you going to focus on? And 4 of those things are religion, family, academics, basketball, and that is the order of the priorities when I speak to kids from day 1 during the recruiting process. So we'll start with values. The first value is loyalty. You want to surround yourself with people that care about you, what you're doing, and you want to invest your time into others. The next is relationships. You want to understand how you make people feel. They'll always forget what you say. They're never going to forget how you make them feel. So you express these values in the recruiting process, and you just keep these at the forefront of your program every day. The next is you want to establish a family type unit. I learned this early on. My best friends in the world are all people that I've played basketball with since I was a little kid. So this is your circle. This is who you identify with. It could be blood relatives, your mom, your dad, your brothers, your siblings. It can also be coaches, your teammates, your friends, like it is in my situation. After your family, we want to look at your work ethic. You have to be dedicated each day to becoming better. You have to have goals, and then you have to have a plan to achieve goals. I've learned that you can have a goal. If you don't have a plan to achieve it, it's just a wish. You can have a goal of becoming a Division I athlete, or you can have a wish that you win the lottery. There's no plan to fulfill that wish of winning the lottery. However, if you have a goal of becoming a Division I athlete, we're going to implement a plan that's going to help you get there or give you a better chance of achieving that goal if you stick to that plan, and that's what this coaching manual is about. Next thing is communication. This may be the most important value, and you got to learn how to express your visions and what it'll take to get there. Your communication on the court, off the court, daily life, with your family, in your relationships, through your work ethic, all of that, everything is tied into how you communicate, whether it's nonverbal or verbal. Communication is very important. Most of the time it's what is going to help you become successful if you're able to clearly articulate what you're going through on and off the court, in your academic life, in your personal life, what have you. Communication skills are very important. Now to the study skills for stability. This is the foundation of our program. It gives us a vision. It gives us a purpose. It gives us a meaning for what our student athletes are going to go through, and the entire program's philosophy is tied into this. All right. Overall, you can use this for your basketball program. You can use it for academics. You can use this for your career job. You can use it for your family. Whatever it takes, you can use these things that are all tied into study skills for stability. The first is the word study. You got to be willing to learn and continue to educate yourself in a particular field. Throughout life and the education process, I've learned that the most successful people, and success is defined in many ways. However, success for me is me doing the best of my ability and accomplishing goals that I've set for myself. There's no monetary value on that success, but the word study, you got to continually educate yourself. You got to learn about the people in your career field. When it comes to basketball, you gotta study what other people are doing, the best players in the world. What are they doing that makes them the best players in the world? You have to be willing to dive into that and educate yourself. Once you do that, then you've obviously seen what it takes to become successful in a particular field, whether it's basketball or outside of basketball or career choice. Your skills, you have to be willing to dedicate time to that craft. You have to practice them, and then you got to develop each skill, whether it's broken down. When we're talking about basketball, you got to be willing to work on your dribbling, the fundamentals of dribbling. You got to be able to work on the fundamentals of passing, the fundamentals of shooting. You got to be willing to be in a defensive stance so you're not letting people score on you. You have to be willing to dedicate a lot of time to that craft. And over the years, our programs that I'm involved with, we've really done a great job of working on those skills to influence success of our program. More importantly, the success of the individual people that are in our programs. Now, when you study and you dedicate your time on that skill, I believe, and the coaches I've worked for believe, that the end result is going to be stability. Now, on the basketball court, we can look at stability as earning that Division I scholarship, because now you have a foundation for your education and your future. If you want to apply it to a life career, if you are in a particular field and you're studying what it takes to be great, if you're working on those skills and developing those skills to be great, the career itself is going to become successful, and it's going to be stable in your life. You can tie this into your family. If you're learning what it takes to have a productive family, whether it's communication, whether it's time spent with significant others, children, what have you, then you know that, so you've studied it, and now you're working on those skills and actually putting that learnt material into motion. That's the skill part, and then you're ultimately going to create a stable family. And that's your vision, is stability. That's the ultimate goal, is stability and success. Priorities in our program. We'll go over these real quick. I started this 3 years ago. I was taking a new job as a head coach, and I wanted to have priorities that my guys knew were going to be there every single day. And in the recruiting process, I wanted them to understand that if our guys focused on these 4 things in this order, we were going to get along great. And these are the things that I cared about, because ultimately I've been through it, and I know what makes them successful and what has helped me become successful through the same path, which is junior college, that they've gone through. The first is, if you have a religion, if you want to go through your religious beliefs every single day, be true to yourself, take care of that first and foremost. Those that don't have a particular religion, that's fine. You can move on to the next priority. The religious part is not forced. It's just, again, be true to yourself and have that base foundation of a religion or non-religion if you prefer that. And the next thing is your family. What is your personal purpose? You want to take care of those that you consider your family or loved ones. Again, for me, it was my closest friends, my uncle, my grandmother, my brothers, my mom, my father. All those people are considered my family. So if something happened with them, I could always step away from academics and basketball and say, I'm going to go take care of my family first and foremost because those people are important to me. Also, the priority of that is if you do want to take care of your family, what what is ultimately going to help your family? Okay, then the next priority will help your family eventually if you're come from a background that struggles financially. One way to stabilize your future is through academics and a learning process. So that's the third priority is your school and education. We value the learning process, whether it's basketball or school. We value that education process, and it never stops one way or another. It's good or bad. You're going to have good experiences or bad experiences in school and outside of school. How you learn from those situations or experiences, how you learn in the classroom, is a priority in our program. The last is basketball. Once you take care of those first three things, then we believe in our programs that you can have success on the basketball court because you've taken care of everything else that in our lives our priorities are above basketball, and now you have the ability to just go out and play basketball. All right, and so once you get to basketball, that's where we go into our topic areas of diet and nutrition, the weight room, basketball development, and what coaches can do within the practice schedule in season to continue a basketball player's development in order to make that goal happen of becoming a Division I recipient of a scholarship. Now, the research that I did was in a survey fashion, and we collected data. There were 8 head coaches in our region, and I compared data collected from each one of them as a collective group versus the experiences I've had as a coach. And so the experiences of the coaches in the region collectively, there were 4 coaches that had over 5 years of experience. Now, my experience at that level is a total of 9 years as a player and coach. So that was basis for part of success in terms of having Division I athletes. Part of the research and the surveys that went out were asked about resources available to schools that helps kids get and earn Division I scholarships. All right, and the next thing is what is actually emphasized. The surveys touched on that when it comes to the eating program, the weight room program, the belief and transformation to a player development system, and then also what are coaches emphasizing through the season in their schedules to maintain that success. Just to give you some quick numbers here, inside of the eating program, we total up all of the numbers. There were 9 elements, 9 statements. We used a Likert scale numbering system, 1 being strongly disagree, 3 being neutral, 5 being strongly agree, and then the 2 is disagree, and the 4 is agree. So if 1 is the lowest level of agreement, 5 is the highest level of agreement. Taking those averages of those 9 statements, the collective coaches had an average of 2.44. The test I took to try to take out any kind of bias, I did the survey myself, and my scores in the programs I've been involved with, we had a score of 3.88. So we're on that verge of strongly agreeing or agreeing, and then the rest of the coaches were on the side of disagreeing. The weight room numbers, their number was, I believe, 2.2. Mine was 4.67. Well, I apologize. Their number was higher than that, but my number was significantly higher, and it was just an emphasis of our programs and the dedication to the weight room over the course of a whole calendar year. and the research paper goes into the periodization and the research and the literature review of what it takes and why we use that type of system in order to build strength through a weightlifting program. Skill development. This is a huge transformation inside the basketball topic, and it's a transition where older coaches are that have success are not making the evolution to a player development system, which we've done and the coaches I've worked with have done for many years now. So the total numbers in the skill development section were 4.3 for me and 2.6 overall for other coaches. And then the practice schedule section, my number was 4. The other coaches in the West region was 2.92. And so all of their numbers were based on independent variables, and the data collected showed all of their numbers more on the strongly disagree or disagree side, whereas the numbers for the programs I've been involved with were on the higher end of the agreeing, and therefore we can make a strong correlation as to why our programs have developed 9 Division I basketball players over the last few years, and their programs have not, which is the goal of all of these kids. They want to be Division I basketball players. That's their goal from high school. Therefore, our investment into these kids, into the relationships, it has equaled success when it comes to the basketball part. We invest in people. We build those relationships through our time in the weight room, study tables, the academic portion, building good eating habits, talking to them about going and taking classes on nutrition, first aid, that sort of thing. We have a vision. From those visions, we develop goals, and then we sit down with each guy and we plan to achieve those goals. What is it going to take to achieve those goals on a daily basis? And through the eating program, the weight room program, the player development, as well as in season manipulating our practice schedules to incorporate skill development, goes a long way. So those individuals, they gain skills and allows the team to be success because now we have better players than the other team. And as long as we continue to work hard, which work ethic is one of our values, we're going to have success. This is a picture of our 2012 championship team that did have a Division I basketball player on that team, as well as multiple other Division II basketball players. That success is going to lead to opportunity. So we invest in the people, we take our time, we build those relationships, we invest in their future, and that leads to opportunity. And in terms of basketball, that is Division I scholarships. What that looks like for junior college guys is our player from our 2012 team went on to play at University of Washington, which is a Division I school. That's the end goal. That's the plan, the process, the coaching manual, everything that we have in place, we believe has affected the dependent variable, which is Division I scholarships earned, through the 4 independent variables, which are the eating program, the weightlifting program, the skill development program, as well as what we can do as coaches inside of the season to continue that developmental process throughout the whole year, because the end goal is providing these guys with opportunities to showcase their talents and skills over the last 2 or 3 years within the West region to make sure that our guys earn scholarships at the Division I level. Appreciate you listening. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.